Welcome back to the Crypto's Key conversation, and we got some updates today in regards to what happened with the CPI data that came out. Obviously, if you've been paying attention, we've had some increase within our market cap within the crypto space. But also, if we come over here to CNBC, we also have some positivity within the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq as well. Blockchain Backer tweets out 8.5% CPI in July, below forecast and down from 9.1% in June. Coming over here to CNBC. It says consumer price rose 8.5% in July, less than expected as inflation pressures ease a bit. The consumer price index rose 8.5 in July a year ago, below expectations due to largely slumping energy prices. Excluding volatile food and energy prices, so-called core CPI rose 5.9% annually and 0.3% monthly, compared with the respective estimates of 6.1 and zero point 0.5. The report was good news for workers who saw a 0.5 and monthly increase in real wages. So obviously we saw some positivity coming out of the data that were coming out. And this is what we were talking about in our past videos of like Wednesday was going to be a big day in regards to how it was going to affect the market. Were we either going to go up or down? Clearly with the positive data that came out, we've had some positive price action. As you can see, Bitcoin is sitting at $24,034. Ethereum sitting at 1,861. Coming out here to XRP, sitting just at 38 cents. So we have 3% for XRP, 9.1% for Ethereum, and 3.6% for Bitcoin. Looking at our biggest gainer, we have Celsius Network at 21.6. And speaking of Celsius Network, we're going to have an update in regards of kind of Ripple, some allegations and some speculation that's been happening in regards of Ripple potentially wanting to buy Celsius. Coming over here to the Bitcoin Fear Index, we're currently sitting at a 31. We were just at a 42, still in that fear range from yesterday. So we're down. But, you know, when this thing kind of comes out, I think it's about just under 2.5 hours, we're going to have an update. I can guarantee this thing's probably going to be higher than the 31, especially due to the positive price action that we've been seeing in the space. We have some updates here from James K. Fallon in regards to the documents in the Ripple versus SC case. This was about 19 hours ago. He says, the Ripple defendants have filed their response to the SEC's objections to Magistrate Judge Netburn's decisions on the DPP issue and the attorney-client privilege issue. Jeremy Hogan says, this I've been looking forward to. So we're going to have some updates in regards of kind of as this litigation continues to go on, we're going to have some more updates. And as you can see, if you've been following the case, things are starting to heat up, day by day, which is very exciting. James K. Fallon has another one here. It says, I don't know why I didn't like this or like this one, retweet it. It says that parties are filing their responses to the motions to exclude expert testimony. It's all under seal now, so there is nothing to see. But those of you who follow docketing services will get notices that things are being filed on the docket. So shout out James K. Fallon for always updating us in regards to the documents that come out through litigation. So here's what I was talking about with this Celsius stuff. It says Ripple, this is from Reuters, Ripple Labs interested in bankrupt crypto lending Celsius assets. So I highly recommend you come and read this article. Obviously nothing has been said, still just kind of been some conversation that's been happening. There's a quote right here. It says, quote, we are interested in learning about Celsius and its assets and whether any could be relevant to our business. The spokesperson said, declining to say if Ripple was interested in acquiring Celsius outright. So curious to see what's going to happen. There was some speculation that's been happening on Twitter. It's like, okay, are they trying to get, the XRP that was on the platform? Like, what is Ripple trying to do here? Who knows? I guess it's just a waiting game to see how things pan out here. Johnny Dean put this up, and I thought this was quite interesting. Says, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. This picture is worth about 10 trillion. So this is from, who put this up? This is Crypto Nerd, and it's owned by BlackRock. And you have all these different, platforms, businesses, mainstream media platforms, and so on. Crazy, interesting. Right here, U.S. from Cointelegraph says U.S. Treasury sanctions USDC and ETH addresses connected to Tornado Cash. So this is what we covered the other day there, and this conversation's been happening within the Twitter space, especially within the crypto market in general, of like, okay, yes, we get, why they're doing this, with the bad actors out there, doing nefarious things or whatever the case, doing these negative things, utilizing these mixers or, Tornado Cash, for instance, to kind of hide transactions and hide moving wallets or whatever. But then again, there's a lot of everyday people, everyday investors, good people out there just doing normal things, trying to protect their privacy. Now they've lost their rights to that, in regards to the United States. So there was a lot of stuff that's coming out about it. But obviously the U.S. coming so hard building these sanctions, there's been some stuff that came up. So one of the articles here from Cointelegraph says anonymous user sends ETH from Tornado Cash to prominent figures following sanctions. It appears to be an ongoing prank to challenge the novel Tornado Cash sanctions. So somebody's out here trying to get some wallets blacklisted, which, I mean, I don't really see it as a prank, but that's crazy. So now, speaking of, they said these sanctions, and, you're forbidden to utilizing Tornado Cash. Torn, went down like 60% when the announcement came out. Now U.S. investors can't U.S. People that invest in the crypto space can't utilize, Tornado. Obviously, privacy is affected by that and all these different things that happen, right? So now you have this. Digital Asset Investor have put out this video in regards of why is it that when it's the smaller people, or when it's us, or you try to classify all of us in this category of like, okay, well, we got to stop this because all these negative actors are utilizing this, so we got to stop it. But when there's something right in your face that we've been screaming from the rooftops, why aren't you acting on it in regards of government officials? That's who we're kind of questioning. He says elephant in the room alert. So let's take a listen into this.
So there are several different tools that you can use. The first tool that we already sort of talked.
I guess I should have said this. It says U.S. Treasury sanctions notorious virtual currency mixer Tornado.
So there are several different tools that you can use. The first tool that we already sort of talked about is called Tor. Basically, that Tor handles your internet connections, and in fact, just recently, I believe the most popular Bitcoin client got a patch that lets it work with Tor, and I'm sure some others do too. But then the second and more critical part is called a mixing service. Basically, what mixing services are is they're services where you put in a certain number of Bitcoins, and then you give them one of your other addresses that you've never used before, and then within a few hours or so, and in a few chunks, that's the service basically spits the same amount of Bitcoins back out again. So the reason why you'd want to use that is because, from looking from an outside point of view, there's no obvious link between the Bitcoins that go in and the Bitcoins that go out. And the most popular mixing service is run by blockchain.info. It charges a 0.5% fee, but really you could use almost anything as a mixing service. You can use exchanges. You can use various kinds of online wallets. And basically, if you sort of chain many of them together, then really there's no single person in the world that will be able to figure out the trail between the Bitcoins that you received and where you're trying to spend them.
So you said that you guys are looking to incorporate and do this out of Switzerland, and you're purposely you live in Canada, right?
Yes.
And so you're purposely not doing it in Canada, and you're purposely not doing it in the U.S.
A large part of that is regulatory reasons.
Okay.
So with Switzerland, they have a very long and established tradition of, first of all, very friendly banking laws. Also a tradition of stability. So it's not like some tiny tax haven that's going to turn against us the moment that the U.S. government wants them to. So from an organizational standpoint, our current situation is that we have an entity registered in Switzerland. And the reason why we're looking at Switzerland as a jurisdiction is because, first of all, Switzerland is very well known for its very, very friendly banking laws. It's much easier to do anything related to innovative finance in Switzerland than it is in something like the United States or even Canada.
A person can buy from any number of different type entities. We may limit.
So the end of that is Joe Lubin giving his infamous speech of like disguise wells and creating multiple identities, utilizing multiple email addresses, buying at varying amounts, so you pretty much don't get red alerted or put on the radar in regards of their purchases in their Ethereum ICO. So the whole disguise well. So the overwhelming concept behind it is like, okay, why is this not being investigated? You're throwing out these sanctions and this is bad, and all these things that they try to do in regards to regulations and sanctions, right? But it's like when you have gentlemen like digital asset investor, XRP community members like myself, the entire, crypto space that's, fall in this case, that's, well aware of ETHgate and the Ethereum Free Pass, and they're at all these government officials. Why hasn't there been an investigation happening? Not to throw shade at Ethereum and, and to attack, any one digital asset, but it's like, if we're going to level the playing field and have fair play in regards of this space, it's like, why are you picking and choosing winners and losers? It's like, go after everybody equally, in a sense, you know what I'm saying? And make sure that when you go at them, it's fair and it's just, and it doesn't hinder or stifle innovation and growth within this space. But the elephant in the room is like, okay, well, they're saying this literally on video, on audio, talking about these mixers and how to, disguise whales and do all these different things, but they get the free pass from the government. William Hemmond from the SEC goes up there and gives an Ethereum free pass speech, pretty much solidifying that Bitcoin and Ethereum are commodities and they're not considered securities. This is the United States, and it's crazy, man. Crazy. Only time will tell how things progress on in regards to the Ripple versus SC stuff, the library versus SC, and when it comes to regulations with CBDCs in the United States and regulations in the crypto space in general. And curious to see if they're actually going to open up an investigation with all these conflicts of interest and the shady actions that's been happening by government officials, the likes of Joseph Lubin and all his buddies that were involved into this ETHgate scandal stuff. Curious to see what's going to happen. But that's the update I have for you. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at Crypto is Key 1. Really excited to continue to grow this community together. With all that being said, stay strong out there. Be safe.